Well, my brother Tim wanted me to make a video of this thing. Basically, it's a flattening sled using my router. Over here working on this cutting board, my brother gave me the idea to try to start making some of these and see what I can do with them. So on this one is just a whole bunch of oak 2x2s, and I've got them flipped, and then I glued them one way and about halfway down here, and after they were dry and I got them all planed down, I used this little sled that I built right here. Worked pretty good. The only problem is it was really little, and it just won't do this. So since I had that issue and I had that problem, I said, well, it's time to make me a new sled. So let me put this guy aside because I might use him later for something else, probably for making the juice grooves on this cutting board. So I built this monster here out of angle iron, and they didn't have bolts that I wanted, so I had to make my own bolts. So I just got some threaded rod, cut them off, made this. I used this. These are the same rails that I had on the other one, and they were already 4 foot long, just built out of 3/4 inch birch plywood. And I had my table here. Half of my table's drilled with these dog holes, so you can see I got this thing clamped down. This thing's solid. It's not going anywhere. These little guys right here do a really good job, and they hold this workpiece pretty steady, so that way my router won't hit the clamps, and it'll still be able to hit the wood. And all I got to do is just take this little, see, I got this box end bit here, cuts it nice and flat, and it slides really nice here on these rails. I don't have any side wobble in here hardly because I got these bolts tightened just right on both ends. Made sure that this thing doesn't rock, because these ends aren't square in here. They're kind of curved and rounded a little bit, and so it had a tendency, if I got it too close, if this thing would not sit flat, it would sit up on those edges and it kind of wobble some a little bit here. But now she sits pretty solid now, slides pretty good, stays pretty true, and that should do a really good job for getting this all flattened out. And the nice thing is with this jig here, I could do a lot more than this, because I've got a coffee table, the first project that I did, and yeah, my wife kind of finished it in a really dark gray, which I really don't care for. I'm gonna probably wind up, the thing started cupping and warping a little bit, so I'm gonna take that top off, throw that on here, and I'm gonna flatten that out too. I'll do that a little bit later on. But right now I'm just trying to get this set up and got my table cleaned off, because since I was doing metal working, I had metal shavings all over my tabletop, and this whole area over here was all gray. So I sanded it all back down to get all that out of there, because, well, when working with something that's going to be handling food here, I don't want metal shavings getting embedded into the wood. I want to keep this thing as clean as I can, so that way it can be used. But yeah, we'll get this going here in a little bit here. See if I can find me a stand for my phone, so I can maybe prop this up down here on that end over there, looking back this way, so you could really see this thing working. Or maybe I could figure something out down here. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But yeah, well, in a bit here, we'll get that rolling.